Geostorm is a 2017 disaster film directed by Dean Devlin, who is mostly famous for being a writer and producer on films like Stargate, Independence Day, and The Patriot, but he's also a bit infamous for writing and producing the 1998 Godzilla film, which is a fucking horrible movie, as well as the most recent Independence Day Resurgence. Geostorm is his directorial debut, and the plot follows a satellite designer who tries to save the world from a storm of epic proportions that's being caused by malfunctioning climate-controlling satellites. And the system of satellites is called Dutch Boy. Yeah, they say it a lot in the movie, and it doesn't get any less hilarious. Gerard Butler plays Jake Lawson, who is the main character and actually created Dutch Boy. And sorry, I'm a little sick. He's basically set up as the world's smartest scientist, or at least one of the smartest scientists on Earth to have ever lived. I did not believe for one second that Gerard Butler was a scientist. I mean, just hearing him speak scientific jargon just doesn't sound right. However, he does have a few scenes, or well, one or two, where he's not talking about anything scientific. He's just looking at a situation and analyzing it through logic. And in those scenes, he's actually pretty compelling. One other flaw that I have with him, and it's not even really his fault, it's just that something with him actually made me notice something about the film. It's obvious that the film went through reshoots because the film jumps from scene to scene, and in many different scenes you'll see him bounce between either having 5 o'clock shadow and being a bit muscular to less muscular. His 5 o'clock shadow has turned into a beard and his hair is a bit longer. And if it happened later in the movie, I would kind of understand it. Kind of. And then we had Jim Sturgis from films like 21 and Across the Universe playing Max, Jake's brother. And this guy's terrible. I mean, he has a good American accent for a Brit, but his line delivery just sucked. And like Butler, I actually couldn't see him as the person that his character was. I didn't see him as an advisor to the president. For everyone else, I thought that they were just all miscast. Although, there are a couple of diamonds in the rough in this film. Like, you had Ed Helms basically being Ed Helms. You had Andy Garcia playing the US president, which actually, yeah, you can kind of see him playing a president. But the only good and consistent president in the film was, I think her name is pronounced, Zazie Beetz? Zazie Beetz? I don't know. That's kind of a cool name. But she plays a cyber security expert who works with Jim Sturgis' character. She is actually pretty funny in this film, and even her dialogue wasn't as bad as the rest of the film's dialogue. The entire film, I was sitting there thinking, I think I recognize her. And sure enough, when I got home, I looked. She's from that show Atlanta with Donald Glover, and she was actually cast to play Domino in Deadpool 2. And because I saw her in this, it actually made me more anticipated for Deadpool 2. As a disaster movie, this film would have been better suited in the 90s. And like other disaster movies at the time, they're very good to watch with a group of friends, maybe have some drinks there, and just, you know, it's great to just make fun of and have fun with the film, because it's just so stupid. And also, like a lot of those other films, it takes itself way too seriously, and is filled to the brim with cliches. There's even this one scene where myself and Mallory, my fiance, were listening to the dialogue, and after every spoken sentence, we would just say the word cliche to each other silently. And then, of course, let's not even mention all the political jargon that's throughout this film. And speaking of cliches, and I will actually be on this subject for a while, the worst one that I saw was that one where it involves a phone call, where somebody calls the main character and says, hey, I know who did this, I know who killed, I don't know, I was trying to make a Clue joke. I forgot that damn guy's name. He'll basically say, I know who's behind the incident. The main character will be like, okay, where is it? And then the guy on the phone will be like, I can't talk on the phone, it's too dangerous. Meet me here at this time, at this exact place. And then the main character that they're talking to either meets up with the contact, but they're killed during the meeting right before the reveal, or the guy is killed on the way to the meeting, or they later learn that he was actually killed very shortly after the phone call. And among this film with its cliches are just recurring moments that are implausible. During the disasters, we see fucking miracles happen. For instance, there'll be a freak event happening, and there'll be one person just outrunning the storm when nobody else is able to, not even fucking vehicles, and scenes where main characters are in a car being chased by another or similar freak event, and their car is untouched by everything going on around them, except for all the other cars that are nearby. They're getting more affected, even though it is debatable that a few of those cars were going faster than the car with the main characters in it. They even have those scenes in space where the astronauts will be spinning around at, like, unusual speeds, like almost the speed of if you shot a gun and the bullet traveled in space. I'm pretty sure it was a little bit faster than that. And then they'll latch onto something, hold onto it, and there'll just be millions of pieces of debris just passing by them, and nothing will touch them. Though this is a disaster movie, there's very little disaster, you know, in case you want to see the movie because you like the Transformers movies for the reason that you get to see shit blow up, like that kind of shit. It mainly focuses on scientists trying to prevent the disasters that are going to happen, and all those disasters that were really shown in the trailers don't really happen until the last 20 minutes, or the third act. And the exposition in Geostorm is some of the worst I've seen all year. Hell, I'm pretty sure it had some of the worst exposition scenes that I had ever seen. There was this one scene that was only there to spoon-feed the audience, where one of the main characters figures something out, and they go to talk to somebody just to explain how they came up with the idea, but it does not affect the character or what they were doing, and by the character I mean the person that they went to tell, and I fucking hate scenes like that. The visual effects are, for the most part, excuse me, laughable, and there are certain things that actually do look decent, I will give them that, but those were a dime a dozen. It looked either low budget for visual effects this year, or maybe the visual effects department was rushed because they wanted to get the film out as quickly as possible. This film is a mess, top to bottom. If you go in knowing what to expect in this kind of movie, you could actually enjoy it. I mean, I went in knowing exactly what I was going to get, and I went in there just so that me and Mallory could just sit there, listen to everything, just watch everything, and just laugh. But if you're expecting something more, then you're going to be disappointed. I'm going to give Geostorm a half a reel. It's probably one of the worst movies I've seen all year. Well, that'll do it for me. Please subscribe if you haven't already for more reviews and content. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and farewell until the next video. Bye, guys.